new band of rebels arose who were determined to carry the fight to Jerusalem. The Sicarii. To the Sicarii, anyone who wasn't fighting the Romans was a collaborator and worthy of death.
Many were slain every day, and the fear many were in was worse than the calamity itself.
All right, first and foremost, we give all praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High God, Yahweh, the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who the word only called Jesus Christ. All right, so what we're going to get into tonight through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai is the 7 trumpets, okay, the 7 trumpets. All right, they all come out the book of Revelation, okay, so many people have had much speculation. This has been a topic of much controversy over what the 7 trumpets in fact are that are found in the book of Revelation. So we're going to deal with it starting at the book of Revelations 8 and 6. Deacon Chicago AM is going to get that as we start this tonight.
8 and 6.
8 and 6, Con. Read 6 to 7.
All right, this is the book of Revelation, chapter 8, verse 6.
Read.
And the 7 angels which had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood.
So hail and fire mingled with blood came at the sound of this very first angel, right? Go ahead.
And there were, and the third, and they were on the earth, and the third part of the trees was burnt up.
And they were cast upon the earth. Who is they that were cast upon the earth? Read. Don't worry, we're going to find out. Go ahead.
And the third part of trees was burnt up.
A third part of the trees was burnt up. Read.
And all green grass was burnt up.
And all green grass was burnt up. Right? Go ahead. That's it on that.
Verse 7.
The
first angel sounded, and there followed hail. No, wait, that was 6. Did you say 6 and 7?
6 and 7.
That's it.
Okay, come. Let's go to first and foremost Ezekiel, the 5th chapter. We're going to start with Ezekiel 5. We're going to read 1 to 5 in Ezekiel 5. Okay, now it talks about a third part of the grass and a third part of the trees being burnt up after hell started. Okay, so let's read about it.
Ezekiel chapter 5, verse 1.
Read.
And thou, son of man, take thee a sharp knife.
Read.
Take thee a barber's razor. And cause it to pass upon thine head and upon thy beard.
This is Ezekiel. The prophet Ezekiel is being told to trim his beard by the Most High with a barber's razor. Read on.
This is to weigh and divide the hair.
Divide that hair. Read on.
Thou shalt burn with fire a third part in the midst of the city.
You shall do what?
Burn a third part with fire in the midst of the city.
A third part burnt. We just read about trees being burnt, right? Read on. A third part of the trees, right? Read on.
When the days of the siege are fulfilled, and thou shalt take a third part.
What is this siege that's coming? This siege that's going to happen. This siege is 70 AD. That's that great siege. When you hear about a siege, there were other sieges that occurred to us. But that great siege that's constantly referred to over and over in the Bible, prophetically, is 70 AD. Read on.
And thou shalt take a third part, and smite about it with a knife.
And smite about that with a knife. Read on.
And a third part shalt scatter in the wind.
Go ahead.
And I will draw out a sword after them.
Keep going.
Verse 3.
Because that Roman Empire kept on us after that, ran us out of the land, and we constantly went at war with them. The empires of Carthage and whatnot. Okay, we went and got up in their military and took their military over. But go ahead.
The first trumpet is
70 AD. That's the hell that's coming. It's 70 AD. Go ahead.
It says, verse 3, thou shalt also take thereof a few in number and bind them in thy skirts.
Take a few, bind them in your skirts. But what's going to happen to that? Read.
Then take of them again.
Then take those same ones and do what?
And cast them into the midst of the fire.
You see that? It said that 1/3 was going to be burnt, and then another third was going to be burnt. 2/3 got burnt right here in Ezekiel. Okay, this is before the 2/3 is going to be burnt in America. This is the Most High is always dealing in sectioning the nation off in thirds, in judgment, right? So go ahead.
And it says, and burn them in the fire. For thereof shall a fire come forth into all the house of Israel.
You see that? Into all the house of Israel. And that began in 70 AD. That's what the first trumpet is. It's 70 AD. Give me Psalms 11 and 6. We're going to further prove it through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai.
You hear all them thirds in Revelation dealing with the thirds. Psalms what?
11 and 6.
Psalms 11 and 6. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire and brimstone.
Ooh, go ahead.
And a horrible tempest.
Wait. Hold that. Go back to Revelations real quick. What does it say?
Revelation 8 and 7. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire.
There followed what?
Hail and fire.
Hail and fire, read.
Mingled with blood.
I want to make sure everything, just so don't we think we're saying hell. Hail. We know what hailstones are, right? Is a hailstone a terrible tempest? That a tempest is a storm. Right. You seem like a rain. Hail is frozen rain, right? So let's go back to that in Psalms. Go ahead.
Psalms 11 and 6. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares.
Upon the wicked he shall rain snares. A snare is a trap. Read on.
Fire and brimstone.
Fire and brimstone. Read on.
And a horrible tempest.
That's what happened at that first trumpet. Right. Fire, brimstone, and a horrible tempest. Read.
This shall be the portion.
The portion of what?
Of their cup.
Of their cup. Now that's interesting. The portion of their cup. Give me Isaiah 51 and 17 and read the 23. Hold that up. I gotta stay right on. I gotta stay right on the road. Go ahead.
Isaiah 51 and 17. Awake, awake. Stand up, O Jerusalem.
Read on.
Which has drunk at the hand of the Lord the cup of his fury.
You see that? We'll read Psalms 11 and 6, and you'll say this is going to happen to the white man. The white man is going to get fire on him. But guess what? Before the white man drank the cup, we had to drink the cup. So if they got fire and they got a tempest on them, that would have to first happen to us. You see what I'm saying? And that did happen to us in 70 AD. That's what it's talking about. Read on.
Thou hast drunken the dregs of the cup.
We drunk the dregs of the cup unto this very day. Read on.
Of trembling and wrung them out.
No, go all the way down to 23, Babu Shah.
Verse 18. There is none to guide her among all the sons whom she hath brought forth.
Read on.
Neither is there any that taketh her by the hand of all the sons that she hath brought up.
And this is why we are having to drink this cup, because we're being wicked, because nobody's leading us aright. So it says, if you ain't being led aright, then you're going to just be wicked. And if you're wicked, then what shall rain upon you? Fire and terrible tempest, which is what Revelations 8 and 6 is referencing. Read.
Okay, it says, neither is there any that taketh her by the hand of all the sons that have brought up. These two things are come unto thee. Who shall be sorry for thee?
Read on.
Desolation and destruction and famine and the sword.
That's 70 AD right there, baby. Go ahead.
By whom shall I comfort thee?
Read.
Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets as a wild bull in a net.
Read on.
They are full of the fury of the Lord.
Go ahead.
The rebuke of thy power.
That's right. Go ahead.
Therefore, hear now this. Thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine.
What did we drink? We drank the hailfire and the terrible tempest. Read on.
The Lord and thy power that pleadeth thy cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out thy hand the cup of trembling.
But he's going to take the cup from us. Read on.
Even the dregs of the cup of my fury, thou shalt no more drink it again.
We're not going to drink it again. But who's going to drink it? Read on.
The hand of them that afflict thee.
That's right. Go ahead.
Which have said to thy soul, bow down.
Who said to our soul, bow down? The white man told us to bow down. You understand what I'm saying? He said that to our soul, brought his image, Caesar Borgia, and made us bow down. Started in 70 AD. This is before there was a Caesar Borgia. He told us to bow down and do what? Why were we revolted? Who knows about the revolts that were going on in Jerusalem? Right? If you call yourself Sicarii, you should know about the revolts, because the Sicarii was the main ones laying Romans down and laying Negroes down that was collaborating with Rome. You see what I'm saying? The taxes. You know what taxing somebody's doing? You're telling them to bow down. You understand what I'm saying? If I go to you live somewhere and I go to where you live and say, look, nigga, you want to live over here. Y'all want to do whatever y'all got going on over here. That's cool. But taxes going to need to be paid. I just told you to bow down to me. That's what I told you to do. So that's what the white man told us to do. And that. So we went to war, right? But because we wasn't right when we went to war, the Lord caused us to lose that war, right? And because we lost that war, that's us drinking that cup to the dregs. And that's what that first trumpet is about, us drinking that cup. Finish that out.
That we may go over, and thou hast laid thy body as the ground.
Read the ground. They walk all over us. Read on.
And as the street to them that went over.
Go ahead.
That's it on that.
That's it on that. Okay, come on. Let's go to Mark. Let me Mark 8 and 24.
Mark 8 and 24. And he looked up and said, I see men as trees.
He said what?
I see men as trees.
He sees men as trees. Just real quick. What did it say was going to be burnt up?
Revelations 8 and 7. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth. And the third part of trees.
Of what?
Of trees.
Of trees. Who walking as trees? Men. Go ahead, so I can read it again.
I see men walking as trees.
I see men walking as trees. These are men. These are Israelite men that are getting burnt up in this by this hellfire, right? So go back to that in Revelation. Salakia, actually, drop Mark. Give me Job 5 and 25. Hold that. We're gonna do the same thing with the grass. Job, the book of Job. Go ahead.
Job chapter 5, verse 25.
Read.
Thou shalt know also that thy seed shall be great.
Thy seed shall be great. The Israelites shall be great. Read on.
And thine offspring as the grass of the earth.
Thine offspring as the grass of the earth. So now let's go back to that in Revelation. It say what? Go ahead.
It says, and they were cast upon the earth, and the third part of the trees was burnt up, and all green grass was burnt up.
You see that? We the trees in the green grass that was burnt up. Okay? They were cast to the earth. Matter of fact, Shamar Yishar, give me Lamentations 2 and 1. They were cast to the earth. It's not defining who was cast. It just say they was cast to the earth. Who is they that was cast to the earth? Let's find out. Lamentations 2 and 1.
So book of Lamentations, chapter 2, verse 1.
Read on.
I covered the daughter of Zion.
The daughter of Zion, read.
With the cloud in his anger.
Read on.
And cast down from heaven unto the earth.
You see that? Go ahead.
The beauty of Israel.
You see that? For the Israelites to be cast out of heaven. What does that mean? Out of rulership is about on point, but it's something a little bit more than that. Just out of the land. When they kicked us out of the land in 70 AD, we were cast out of heaven. That's what that refers to, just like in Lamentations. In Lamentations, when the Babylonians conquered us, the ancient Babylonians, and took us out of our land, they said we was cast out of heaven then. You see what I'm saying? So that's what is referencing, our casting out of heaven. Since they were cast out of heaven, we were cast out of our land. 70 AD. Right? So go back to that was it on Job. Let's get 2 Kings 19 and 26. Yeshaya. Bro, Yeshaya. Water. Go ahead.
2 Kings chapter 19, verse 26.
Read.
Therefore, their inhabitants were of small power. They were dismayed and confounded. They were as the grass of the field.
They were as what?
As the grass of the field.
That happened to us before. We were as the grass of the field. It happened again. Read on.
And as the green herb.
Go ahead.
And as the green on the housetop. And as corn blasted before it had been grown up.
You see that? That's what happened to us. You see what I'm saying? It happened to us in old times of old when we went off. And the Most High judges happened to us in 70 AD the same way. Right? So let's go to, that's it on that. Let's go to Amos 5, 7. And I want you to read the 6, but we're going to jump around a little bit. Shamar, get Jonah. Get the book of Jonah 3 and 4. Go ahead.
Amos,
stop at 3. Go ahead.
Amos chapter 5, verse 7. Ye who turn.
Salakia. Amos chapter 7 and start at 1. That's my bad. Read 1 to 3.
Amos 7 and 1. Thus had the Lord power showed unto me.
This is Amos the prophet. I'm watching the Hebrew. He was shown something by the Most High. Read on.
He formed grass of the shooting up of the latter growth. And lo, it was the latter growth after the king's mowings. And it came to pass.
What does that mean, the latter growth after the king's mowings? Come on. The latter growth. We're talking about grass here. The latter growth after the king's mowings, meaning long after you've got your lawn done, long after the tribe of Issachar came and tended to your lawn. All right. The grass is high. I know a brother in this room who had some very high grass recently. We ain't gonna put him out there. Go ahead.
And it came to pass that when they had made an end of eating the grass of the land.
What do grasshoppers do? They eat your grass, right? Read on.
Then I said, "O Lord power, forgive."
So Amos said, forgive, because that vision he saw, he said he knows that vision is talking about the heathen coming and devouring Israel. Amos said, forgive. Read on.
I beseech thee, by whom shall Jacob arise? For he is small.
He said, damn, if you do this, we ain't gonna be able to rise back up with that type of destruction. Read on.
The Lord repented for this.
Then the Most High said he repented of that. Read on.
It shall not be, saith the Lord.
So he said, look, that ain't gonna happen. You ain't gonna have the grasshoppers ain't gonna come and devour the grass. But watch this. Give me Jonah 3 and 4.
God.
And then skip to 10. Go ahead.
The book of Jonah, chapter 3. And Jonah began to enter into the city a day's journey. And he cried and said, yet 40 days. And
so he went to the streets of Nineveh, the great prophet Jonah, the tribe of Naphtali. And he said, y'all got 40 days. He put that whole city on notice. Y'all got 40 days. Read on.
And Nineveh shall be overthrown.
He said Nineveh is going to be destroyed in 40 days. Right? Go ahead.
Chapter 10.
Chapter 10.
Verse 10. And the Most High saw their works, and they turned from their evil way.
So Jonah said, y'all got 40 days. Their evil way after that. So read.
And the Most High repented of the evil that he had said that he would do unto them.
So the Most High repented of the evil that he said he would do, right? Finish it.
And he did it not.
And he did it not, right? Go to Zephaniah 2 and 13. Whoever got it first, bring it out. Happens every time. To be the same way. Go ahead, you got it?
Zephaniah 2 and 13. Quicker than the computer. And he will stretch out his hand against the north and destroy Assyria and will make Nineveh a desolation and dry like a wilderness.
You see that? So he repented of it. And then what he turned around to do? Did it anyway. Because guess what? They didn't hold steadfast to that repentance, right? Same way with this time. He pronounced this judgment of the green grass getting ate up long ago in the time of Amos. Amos begged him. He chilled out. Eventually, he did it anyway in 70 AD. That's what happens when you don't repent, truly. Or you have to repent like the church. You repent for Sunday morning. By Sunday evening, you back to your sin. You see what I'm saying? You do that, and the Most High going to keep everything he pronounced on you. Then he going to do even worse, right? Keep reading, though, in Amos 7. Go back to Amos 7. Read back down to the 6th verse.
Amos 7 and 4.
Because this is going to segue into the next trumpet. It said that the green grass would be ate up, right? Read on.
Thus have the Lord God showed me, and behold, the Lord called to contend by fire.
So he said, look, I'm going to give you another vision. Called to contend by fire. Read on.
And it devoured the great deep.
And it devoured the deep. What's the deep? The ocean. It said there's a fire that was going to devour the deep, the Lord is pronouncing.
Did eat up a part.
And did eat up a part of that deep. Read on.
Then said I, cease, I beseech thee.
Amos is begging the Lord again because he knows the deep that's getting ate up is talking about the Israelites that was in the deep. What does it mean to be in the deep if you're in the deep? Be in the deep. This is the deep. We already went the deep is the water, right? It's the ocean. How can you be in the deep?
In a world of trouble.
No, you're on an island. That's what it's dealing with. Being on islands, okay? We're going to see once we go to Revelation 8. You being in, that's why it says the isles of the sea. You're not connected to a large landmass. You're in the middle of the damn ocean. You're in the middle of the deep. 30 feet away from where you at, that water is going to get deep out of nowhere. You see what I'm saying? It's not like when you look at the depth level, you can look at the maps that got the depth level. If you look at the way it goes from California, it's different from how it goes from Hawaii. it gets deep real fast out there. You see what I'm saying? So go ahead.
It says, Salakia, verse 6. This is, I just lost my 5, Salakia. And did eat up apart. Then said I, O Lord power, cease I beseech thee, by whom shall Jacob arise, for he is small. The Lord repented for this. This also shall not be, saith the Lord power.
So he repented of it. And then, of course, he brought it back on us anyway, and we're going to see it now. Let's go to Revelations. Just like with the last one. You see what I'm saying? So he gave us in the book of Amos the first 2 trumpets. Before the book of Revelation, before John the Revelator, Amos gave us the first 2 trumpets. But he begged the Lord. So the Lord chilled out. A couple thousand years later, or a few hundred years later, rather, he brought it on us during the time of 70 AD. So read.
Back in Revelation chapter 8, just so everybody's clear, what's the first trumpet?
70 AD.
There you go.
We'll go into now what the second trumpet is. Go ahead.
All right, Revelation chapter 8, verse 8. And the second angel sounded, as it were a great mountain burning with fire.
It's a great mountain. What is a mountain symbolic of in the Bible? A nation, a kingdom, a government. So it is a government that is burning with fire. And what happened to this government?
It was cast into the sea.
This great nation was cast into the sea, right? So, Salakia, is that it on that?
No.
On 8? No. Finish 8, Salakia.
And the third part of the sea became blood.
And the third part of the sea became, didn't it say a part? Do we go back to Amos? Hold on, read back in Amos again real quick, Baba Gushah. Going to be a fire was coming in the deep, and a part was going to be devoured. A whole lot of people were devoured at the coming of this burning mountain. Read on.
Coming back in Amos, just to get the precept, it says, and thus saith the Lord power, he showed me, and behold, the Lord called to contend by fire, and it devoured the great deep, and did eat up a part.
It told us this in the Old Testament, right? What is this mountain? That's what the question is. What is this mountain that's on fire, and what is this part that's being devoured? Go ahead.
And the third part of the sea became blood.
On 8.
Verse 9.
Hold off on 9.
All right.
Let's go to Isaiah 2 and 2 first. We're going to get some precepts on 8.
Isaiah chapter 2, verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains.
Right. This is to establish that mountains deal with kingdoms. Just in case anybody has any misconception out there, people out there in YouTube land got an issue with governments being mountains. Because you know, like you had your boy Ricky. Ricky said government. He agreed governments are mountains, but then we go to Jeremiah 2 and 23. Governments aren't mountains anymore. That's all the people that ain't listening. No. Government, a kingdom, right? So finish that.
And shall be exalted above the hills.
Go ahead.
And all nations shall flow unto it.
Boom, right? So that's what a mountain is. So let's deal with what this mountain is that's burning, that was put into the sea through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. All right? That mountain is something called the Spanish Navy. That's who that mountain is. The white man, namely the Spanish white man. That's who that is. Because that is who founded this whole conquest. Christopher Columbus came from where? Spain. Came right here to the deep, the isles in the deep. And who did he kill when he got to the deep? He didn't get to Gad. He got to Ephraim. He got to Simeon. He got to them tribes. Gad came later. But he started killing the northern king. He killed a part, right? Don't you notice that 2 parts were burnt up in the first trumpet? Why were 2 parts burnt up in the first trumpet? And 1 part is being burnt up now. 1 part is getting smitten now.
They were already, they were over here.
The southern kingdom was the first one. Then the northern kingdom was the second one. You see what I'm saying? That part that was left over, which is the north. The southern kingdom was the 2 parts, the trees and the grass, right? Now our brothers are in the deep, the Ephraimites, the Manassites, the Simeonites. Here comes the Spanish Navy to kill them. You see what I'm saying? We're going to read about the Spanish Navy real quick. Which basically, the second trumpet, so we can understand, is 1492. 70 AD, we're going to put dates on the first and second. The first one, that's 70 AD, the Romans coming and getting us out of our land. The second is 1492 with the Ahsoka, which is the great year of Renaissance for the white man. It's when the white man comes back into power finally. It's 1492 under Pope Alexander, Christopher Columbus, all the co-conspirators that came against our people to murder us, right? So if you could, Deacon, let's read this excerpt here, the highlighted excerpt.
In 1492, 2 caravels and a carrack commanded by Christopher Columbus arrived in America on an expedition that sought a westward oceanic passage across the Atlantic.
You see that? What is that? That is a burning mountain that just came into the sea. That's what it is. Read on.
To the far east. This began the era of transoceanic trade routes.
You see that? This began it. What were our people trading in? Transoceanic trade routes, namely the transatlantic slave trade or the Middle Passage. The foundation of that Middle Passage was laid by the expeditions of Christopher Columbus, accompanied by the Spanish Navy in 1492, when they initially came and got our brothers of the Northern Kingdom tribes. That's that burning mountain. That's that part that got destroyed. That's that ocean turning to blood.
Which further substantiates the 2 women in Zechariah 5. we gotta add that.
We gotta come back with that. Okay, these deep prophecies. Go ahead.
It says, pioneered by the Spanish in the seas to the west of Europe and the Portuguese to the east.
You see that? Right there. That's that burning mountain, right? So let's continue on to verse 9.
Revelation chapter 8, verse 9. And the third part of the creatures were in the sea and had life died. And the third,
that's our people.
And the third part of the ships were destroyed.
And the third part of the ships were destroyed. This is dealing with the Spanish Navy's height and its decline and how it started and opened up that slave trade. Who were the first people that the Spanish took into slavery? Tribe of Ephraim. They took 300 Puerto Ricans. No matter of fact, it was only 300 that made it. They took more than 300, correct? 300 that made it. They took more than 300. Back to Spain. That's that blood all in that ocean, man. And a majority of our brothers died in that. All right. Matter of fact, I want to look that up real quick, just briefly. Real quick, the transatlantic slave trade. Yeah.
Just like in the movie 1492.
Exactly. It was what it's about. 1492, right? I'm trying to think here. I'm just trying to find this real quick. Right here. Okay. 5 Taino chieftains. What is this? Now watch this. Trying to get a good number. They don't really got the numbers here. So it's all right. We'll maybe come back to that. But let's go ahead, finish that. Or no, you finish that out?
You went in on the ship yet?
Yeah, that was 9?
Yeah, that was 9.
Read it again.
It says, in the third, Revelation 8:9, and the third part of creatures which were in the sea and had life died. And the third part of the ships were destroyed.
Ooh, and the third part of the ships were destroyed. This is dealing with that Spanish Navy still. And we're going to prove it through the spirit and probably how about Shemel Shai. So
right, you might want to.
This is, it's going to break it all down right here. I believe. Yeah, the Anglo-Spanish War. That's what it's dealing with at that latter part, the Anglo-Spanish War. So it starts in 1492, but it runs all the way to about 1604, 1605. All right, this prophecy, that's what it's covered. That's how much time it's covered, right? It's covering over 100 years easily. So we're going to read these 2 paragraphs. All right.
Okay.
So go ahead.
The Spanish Armada. All right, that's what it is. The Spanish Armada.
And what does that mean?
It means a great and most fortunate navy.
That's how proud this white man. He called his navy the great and most fortunate navy, because they were that burning mountain in that sea. Couldn't nobody mess with them, right? But let's see who did mess with them. Read on.
The Spanish Armada was a Spanish fleet of 130 ships that sailed from a Coruna in August 1588. Under the command of the Duke of Medina Sidonia, with the purpose of escorting an army from Flanders to invade England.
So these are white people fighting each other. They want to go and invade England. Okay, go ahead.
Strategic aim.
Why do you think they want to invade England? Think they're beefing over black and brown bodies and the exports of our people and our lands? You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
The strategic aim was to overthrow Queen Elizabeth I of England and the Tudor establishment of the Protestantism in England, with the expectation that this would put a stop to English interference in the Spanish Netherlands and to the harm caused to Spanish interests by English and Dutch
privateering.
Privateering, whatever the hell that means.
What is Spanish interest? Dutch privateering. This is all over the transatlantic slave trade. You have to understand. This is what it's about. Why are these white folks beefing with each other over slaves? Go ahead, brother. And England is doing this privately. You will have people who will say, well, how was King James black if the English were involved in the slave trade while he was reigning? The English men that were involved in slave trade were doing it privately. This was not a state-sanctioned thing as it was in the case of Spain. English and Dutch were privateering this. You see what I'm saying? So they beefing about slavery, goods, things of that nature, right? So go ahead.
The European slavery.
The European competition. They call it. Right? You had something else?
Yeah, they hire these pirates like Captain Cook, who discovered Australia, and then he was a pirate cook first. Then once he discovered Australia, all of a sudden
now he's captain. Like he's got military rank now. Exactly. The white man deals with criminals. You see what I'm saying? They're the true criminal, right? So go ahead.
All right, it says, Armada chose not to attack the English fleet at Plymouth, then failed to establish a temporary anchorage in the Solent after one Spanish ship had been captured by Francis Drake in the English Channel. The Armada finally dropped anchor off in Calais. While awaiting communications from the Duke of Parma's army, the Armada was scattered by an English fire ship attack.
Fire, more fire in the sea, an English fire ship, right? Go ahead.
In the ensuing battle of Gravelines, the Spanish fleet was damaged and forced to abandon its rendezvous with Parma's army, who were blockaded in the harbor by Dutch flyboats. The Armada managed to regroup and, driven by southwest winds, with the English fleet harrying it up the east coast of England. The commander ordered a return to Spain, but the Armada was disrupted during severe storms in the North Atlantic.
During severe storms, meaning the Most High interfered in this situation. That's what do they call a severe storm? An act of God. Because it's going to be for the fulfillment of prophecy. Go ahead.
And a large number of the vessels were wrecked on the coast of Scotland and Ireland.
Well, brother, how many of them vessels were wrecked?
Of the initial 130 ships, over one-third failed to return.
Read that again.
Revelation 8:9. And the third part of the creatures which were in the sea had life, and the third part of the ships were destroyed.
How many other ships was destroyed?
A third part of the ships were destroyed.
1,600 years before it happened to him. But the black woman is God, and you and Kim it somewhere, right? You in somebody's period blood. and I'm reading stuff before it happens. Then I'm watching it. I'm going in the history book. I'm reading what the Bible already told me was going to happen. Right. but I'm following something stupid. Are you out of your damn mind? A third part of them ships. The Bible is perfect, man. All right, that's how powerful this is. And this was the key to understanding this whole breakdown. Was this right here? You see what I'm saying? This right here brought it all together in full circle through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Third part of them ships, they didn't make it home. Why didn't they make it home? Because God told John the Revelator they wouldn't make it home. That's why. Okay, about 1,500 years before this war even happened, before Spain and England even existed as empires and kingdoms. The land existed, but the white people that was running it was not up in there having that. You see what I'm saying? So let's go back into Revelations 8, and let's go to 10. We finished 9. Let's go right into 10 through the Spirit.
Revelation chapter 8. So y'all know what the second trumpet is. I'm just trying to make sure. You know what the second trumpet is?
1492, the Spanish Navy, the Spanish Armada. You see what I'm saying? We go in right in that. Spanish Navy, the Spanish Armada, Spanish conquest.
We only got one brother listening.
Yeah. Right? So we got 70 AD, then we got 1492. Let's go to the third. Go ahead.
Revelation chapter 8, verse 10. And the third angel sounded.
Read 10 and 11. Go ahead.
There fell a great star from heaven.
There fell a star. Read.
Burning as it were a lamp. And it fell upon the third part of the river. And the fountains of waters. And the name of the star is called Wormwood.
So that star is called Wormwood, right? Read on.
And the third part of waters became wormwood.
And the third part of the water, because that star fell, it became wormwood. And what happened?
And many men died of the water.
And many men died directly of the waters. Read on.
Bitter.
Because they were what?
Because they were bitter.
Because they were bitter. Give me the book of Jeremiah 9 and 13 to 16. This is going to tell you exactly. Listen. People think wormwood is Chernobyl. Who knows what Chernobyl is?
In Russia?
In Russia, where they had that accident. They think because Chernobyl means wormwood. People think that's the fulfillment of the scripture. No, the fulfillment of this scripture is far more catastrophic than anything that happened in Chernobyl. In Jeremiah. Go ahead.
Jeremiah 9 and 13.
To 16. Go ahead.
And the Lord said, because they have forsaken my law.
Because you blacks and Hispanics have forsaken his law. Read.
Which I have said before them. And have not obeyed my voice.
Read on.
Neither walked therein, but have walked after the imagination of their own heart.
Read on.
And have Baalim fathers taught them. Therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the power of Israel, behold, I will feed them, even this people.
What are you gonna feed them? Go ahead.
With wormwood.
wait. What are you gonna feed them?
With wormwood.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
And give them water of gall to drink.
Okay, go ahead.
I will scatter them also among the heathen.
What? So, us being scattered is us eating wormwood. Slavery. So, what is the third trumpet?
Slavery.
Now, following what I said the first trumpet was, and the second trumpet, what would you call the third trumpet? 1619. 70 AD. 1619. Those are the trumpets, right? First three. Go ahead.
I will scatter them also, also among the heathen.
1619. Ran out of our land. 1492. The northern kingdom going down. 1619. The southern kingdom going down into slavery. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
I will scatter them also among the heathen, whom neither they nor their fathers have known. And I will send a sword after them till I have consumed them.
Exactly. So that's what that's that star of wormwood. It's straight slavery, right? Let's go to Isaiah 30 and 20. Touch on that, and it's going to bring us right into the fourth trumpet through the Spirit.
Isaiah chapter 30, verse 20. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity.
So he gave us the bread of adversity. That's what's killing us, the bread of adversity. Slavery that we're going through. Cause us to eat. Read.
In the water of affliction. Yet shall not thy teachers be removed.
So he said, yeah, that third trumpet is going to happen. But shall not your teachers be removed? Read on.
Into a corner anymore.
Meaning eventually I'm going to raise your teachers back up. Okay? They were killing us. They were moving us into a corner. What is an example of a teacher being moved into a corner? Movie on them last year. What did they do to Nat Turner? Nat Turner began to disguise how he was trying to teach us scriptures, but he was disguising it, right? He was hidden to a corner. He said, yeah, we going through this and that. Water of affliction, the bread of adversity, we're eating wormwood, and it's killing a lot of us. But there's going to come a time where our teachers will not be hid anymore. And we're in your face, we're on the street corners now, right? So go ahead.
Thine eyes shall see thy teachers.
Your eyes shall see your teachers. A certain time, namely 3.5 days later in Revelation, 350 years of eating this straight wormwood, then you're going to see your teachers. Did we have teachers in slavery?
Yes.
Yes, we did. People knew we were Israelites in slavery, but they were trying to what's the word I'm looking for? Mask it. Well, brother, they were trying to mask it, but Esau was trying to quell that knowledge. They were beating that knowledge out of us. You see, because we knew, a lot of us knew coming right off the boat. Not everybody, because some people have discontinued from being an Israelite in Africa. You see what I'm saying? It was calling themselves whatever the hell we made up in Africa, calling themselves a damn Muslim. You see what I'm saying? Informational, it was teaching that information, but it was quelled by the white man in large numbers. But you still had groups people mentioned prior to Abba Bivens in 1969, like F.S. Cherry, William Crowdy, who they call what's Matthews? What's his name? Rabbi Matthews, right? They knew that we were Israelites, but they didn't have the true doctrine like Abba Bivens did in '69. But there was still information that was out there. You understand what I'm saying? So let's go ahead. Sarge, that was it on 20? Salakia, let me make sure that was it on 20. Oh, brother, I had to go through that real quick. Boom, perfect. Let's go to back to Revelations. Let's go to Revelations 8 and the 12th verse. Go ahead.
Book of Revelations, chapter 8, verse 12.
Read.
And the fourth angel sounded.
The fourth angel, read on.
And the third part of the sun was smitten. And the third part of the moon. And the third part of the stars. So as the third part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for a third part of it.
The day was darkened for a third part of it. Read on.
And the night likewise.
And the night likewise. But here's the thing. What we have to understand is, just like when it's talking about a third part of the creatures in the sea, just like when it's talking about a third part of the trees and the grass, these heavenly hosts, it's talking about us and it's talking about our wisdom. And we're going to prove it. That's it on that?
God.
Salakia. Give me 2nd Ezra 5, 1-4. We're going to prove it through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Shemel Shah.
In second Ezra, it's a lot. Yeah. 5 and 1. Nevertheless, as concerning the tokens, behold, the days shall come, they which dwell upon earth.
They which dwell upon earth, read on.
Shall be taken in a great number.
You see that? They shall be taken in a great number. What's that? Slavery. Read on.
And the way of truth shall be hidden.
It shall be hid. The teachers are going to be put in a corner. You see what I'm saying? We were losing. They were beating our nationality out. They were beating our knowledge out of them. Those that had it were concealing it. Read on.
And the what? And it says, and the land shall be barren of faith.
What does that mean? People ain't going to have no faith, especially going back into Israel. Read on.
But iniquity shall be increased above that which now thou seest.
That's right.
Or that thou hast
we
heard.
See how wicked it is. It's the Most High telling Ezra the type of iniquity that's going to happen in the time I'm telling you this prophecy is going to happen is going to be unheard of.
It says, or that thou hast heard long ago, and the land.
You ain't never heard of nothing that's wicked. Read. And the what? Read on.
That thou seest now.
Israel. Read on.
To have root. Shall thou see wasted?
It's going to be wasted. Israel's going to be wasted. You go to Israel now, it's a damn wasteland. They trying to build it. It's a wasteland. Over there in Zion, It's a wasteland. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Suddenly, it says, verse 4, but if the Most High grant thee to live, thou shalt see after the third trumpet.
After the third trumpet, read on.
That the sun shall suddenly shine again.
Shall suddenly shine again. But like it said in Revelations, it's only going to shine for a third part of the day. Meaning it's not, it's the shining and the shining rather, and the light of the sun is going to be disrupted. It's going to be covered for 2 parts of the day. It's only going to shine the third part. So that means that the fullness of the wisdom is not going to exist. It's only going to partially exist. And that's where you have the F.S. Cherries and the William Crowdies and Rabbi Matthews cats. Because they wasn't really teaching the truth. They were teaching that we were Israelites, but they didn't have it all down pat by any means. You see what I'm saying? So go ahead. Finish that one before.
That the sun shall suddenly shine again in the night.
And then all of a sudden at night, if you read Revelations 8 again.
What you want, the 12? 8 and 12?
Yeah, I need the point about the sun.
Back in Revelations 8 and 12, and the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten.
The third part was smitten. Read on.
And the third part of the moon.
And the third part of the moon. That's what gives light in the day and the night. Read on.
And the third part of the stars. So as the third part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for a third part of it.
The day shone not for a third part, partially darkened, partially the light was darkened. Read on.
Night likewise.
And the night also only partially. But it says here that the light is going to give forth in the night too, partially, just like it's partially going to be there in the day. We're going to have somewhat of our knowledge and wisdom and understanding. Because how did Abba Bivens learn that he was Israelite?
Right.
Anybody know? A slave told him, a former slave told him that we were the Israelites. Then he went to the Indian reservation. He seen the tribe of Gad. He said, if we Israelites, they Israelites. You see what I'm saying? So it was there still, but it wasn't there like that. Because even when you had the commandment keepers, which Abba Bivens left that group, they was only Old Testament. They was following Judaism basically. That ain't right. We are the Israelites, but that ain't right. Then you had F.S. Cherry, who was given a Christian version of it. Then nah, that ain't right either. But this, what we got right here is right in the middle. It's right. It's everything. It ain't too Christian. It ain't too Jewish. You see what I'm saying? It's literally just what the Bible said. That's what we had through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. That's what was hidden up until 1969. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead. Finish that out in 2nd Ezra. Go ahead.
It says that the sun shall suddenly shine again in the night, and the moon thrice in the day.
You see that? So it says that the light was going to be there in parts, partially, right? So read on.
And blood shall drop out of the salat.
That's all I needed to 4. So now let's go to Matthew 13 and 43. Matthew 13 and 43.
Book of Matthew, chapter 13, verse 43.
Read.
Then shall the righteous shine.
The righteous shall what?
Shine.
So it's dealing with all that shining of the sun, of the moon, of the stars. It's dealing with the righteous men shining. Read on.
Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom.
You see that shall shine forth as the what?
As the sun in the kingdom of their Father.
As the sun. So when you're dealing with the shining of the sun and the moon and the stars, metaphorically here in the book of Revelations, is dealing with men shining and teaching the knowledge, wisdom, understanding, right? Let's further prove it. We're going to go here into the Hebrew briefly. We'll go here into the Hebrew briefly and further prove it. Give me the book of Daniel. In the book of Daniel 12.
12, 1 to 3.
Come.
Book of Daniel, chapter 12, verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people.
Read on.
And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time.
The last days, final times, right? Read on.
And at that time, thy people shall be delivered, that shall be found written in the book.
What book? The book of life. Read on.
And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt.
This is in the end, right? Read on.
And they shall be wise.
And they that be wise. What about them that be wise? Read.
Shall shine as the brightness of the firmament.
What's the brightness of the firmament? What's in the firmament? Stars, the moon, and the sun. So that's what it says. The righteous are going to shine like that. Let's prove what that is. Let's take a look at what that even means, that the righteous are going to shine. It's the Hebrew word zahar. Strong's H20 and 96. Brilliancy, it says brightness, but let's take it back in its etymology. The etymology of the word zahar. And it goes back to Strong's H20 94, which is also zahar, and it means to admonish, warn, teach, shine, send out light, be shining. When you admonish, when you teach, when you are warning brothers, you are being light, you are enlightening them, you are shining upon them. So that's why I said that it was going to be partially darkened, the shining, because the full understanding wasn't out there, the teaching wasn't out there. A lot of us were being rapidly indoctrinated into Christianity and things of that nature during that time period, so we wasn't having the knowledge. You see what I'm saying? That's what the fourth trumpet is about. It's about us, partially going away and losing our identity, becoming indoctrinated with Christianity. Because initially, a lot of us, even on plantations, were not being indoctrinated into Christianity. That wasn't happening. When you deal with a lot of slave narratives, they'll tell you that they don't know nothing about Christianity, a lot of them. They didn't know who Jesus was, none of that. But especially after the quote-unquote Emancipation Proclamation, you had droves and droves of missionaries coming from the north down to the south to indoctrinate us. You had sometimes.
What about white supremacy?
The indoctrination of white supremacy as well.
Like with integration. How before that we were dealing with each other. After that, we just literally went straight to them. Esau, yeah.
Great, tremendous point, because that also goes into as well. We're having a little bit of light, but it partially gets blinded by the indoctrination that's coming. You see what I'm saying? Then we have the school got to get built, and the truth got to go out for decades and decades before it really starts booming. Now Kendrick Lamar is an Israelite. You see?
I was gonna say, being more educated. They're pushing education real heavy, but Esau can make it. You gotta save them, and with our education, we're being around them more. So it's like, I know I got friends that are white, and this, that, and the rest. So
yeah, we can't think like that anymore, guys.
Yeah, that's what's holding us back.
Yeah, that's what's holding us back. When really it's the opposite of that. That's what's making our light not to shine all the way. You see what I'm saying? Is that loving everybody? So that's what it means that the righteous shall shine. It means we shall teach. The righteous are going to be teachers and have to be full of wisdom. All right. So finish that third verse.
I'll start it over. Verse 3. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness.
They that turn many to righteousness. Brothers, that's teaching. Now it's an after your teachers. That's why we read Isaiah 30 and 20. Because at first it said, though you are given the bread of affliction, the third trumpet, your teachers shall not be hid in a corner. The fourth trumpet, and the end of that fourth trumpet, going into that fifth one. Going into that fifth one now, the teaching begins to come out. The shining of the nation of Israel begins to come again. Us getting our knowledge, wisdom, understanding back. All that foundation happened during the time of the fifth trumpet, which we're still in the time of the fifth trumpet. Go ahead.
And they that turn many to righteousness, as the stars forever and ever.
As the stars. That's that stars of the moon. That's all it's talking about. The grass and the trees. It's all just really about Israel, the creatures in the sea. It's about Israel. Officer.
That's like putting Baruch 4 and 2 with Proverbs 9 and 23, as well as another one about the law.
Is the lamp, the light, all those various things. That's what it is. Departing from it, we're not going to, but when you're warning somebody, you're telling them you're going off according to the law. So you are, if the law is a light, then you are shining to this individual. That's the concept. That's how we looked at the law. This is how we talk as Israelites. Don't brothers in the world even call themselves stars? I'm a star in the hood, all these various things. So this is just how we have always been, right? So go ahead.
Yahweh Shai himself said he or no, they said that he's the light of the world.
Well, yeah. Well, he said, I am the light of the world. Who's the world? Israel. Right. He's coming to enlighten Israel. That's why he's that light, right? Through the Spirit. That's why the 5 foolish virgins, they had the oil and lit their lamps. You see what I'm saying? You had something?
No.
Okay, let's keep going. Let's go to Revelation. Let's go right into 9. Deal with this 5th trumpet. Yeshaya. Yeah, con. We hit Ezra for a second and 5.
Trumpet.
Yeah, con. We did that. Let's go right into 9.
Revelation chapter 9, verse 1. And the 5th angel sounded, fall from heaven unto the earth, and the key of the bottomless pit.
Okay, hold on. He was given the key of the bottomless pit. Who knows what the bottomless pit is? Europe, the bottomless pit. Why is Europe the bottomless pit? They're the most efficient continent when it deals with natural resources. We're taking a look at a video that we've done on, already gone over the 5th trumpet in depth. Why is the reason why we haven't gone over the first 4 trumpets prior to this? The Most High didn't reveal it to us prior to this. You see what I'm saying? So we ain't gonna talk about nothing we don't know about. We didn't heard people get on YouTube and try to break down the trumpets, and they got the 3rd trumpet happening after the 5th trumpet. How is that possible? 7, it must be happening in a chronological order, right? Most High is dealing with order, ain't he? Decency and order, right? So it can't be out of order occurring like that, right? So Most High had to give it to us. So we, through the Spirit, he finally did. So now we going back into the 5th. Now we know the 5th, 6th, and 7th. These are easy. Matter of fact, read that last verse of 8 first, and then we're gonna go back over.
Revelation 8:13. And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice.
This is after the 4th trumpet, first 4 trumpets, brother. Go ahead.
Woe, woe, woe.
What is woe, woe, woe? What does that mean? No, it's something he's telling you. He just gave you, officer. Go ahead, tell him.
World War I, World War II, and World War III.
He just told you about there's going to be 3 world wars after this. 3 world wars. Go ahead.
To the inhabitants of the earth by reason of the other trumpets.
Why? He said to the inhabitants of the earth. Why? Because the whole earth is getting ready to go to war 3 times. Before the whole earth is just at war. You might have the Romans and the Persians at war. Them people down in Aborigines in Australia were not at war during that time. They were doing God knows what. You see what I'm saying? But this time he's saying, oh no, the whole earth is going to have to feel this woe. And he said what? He said by reason of the trumpets, right? Go ahead.
Of the yet to sound.
He said this woe, it's going to get worse. If we just went over 4 trumpets, he said these next 3, woe, because of these next 3, which is going to cover 3 world wars. So let's go.
Revelation 9:1. And the 5th angel sounded, fall from heaven,
read on,
unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit.
The bottomless pit, which is Europe. Where did World War I and II start from? Where did World War I and II predominantly happen? Europe. Didn't happen in America. America sent people out, but they were killing people in Europe. That's where it was going down at, right? So go ahead. And this is the bottomless pit, as y'all can see on the display. Everybody that's watching the live stream, y'all can see on the display all that gray. All that gray is dealing with natural resource deficiency, and it means the exports of that nation, the primary exports of that nation, do not deal with produced in that nation, but rather things that they have to import themselves to create lifeless man-made creations, primarily automotives. That's what Europe exports predominantly. Volkswagens, Beamers, Benzes, and Bentleys. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Right, and the star is Kaiser, but it explains it more in depth.
Yeah, it's going to break it down, which is Kaiser Wilhelm, which is the last king of Europe, because Europe did away with kings. Now, what do European countries have to govern themselves? Prime minister, parliament. They got parliaments. You got figures that are kings and queens, but the people who actively govern these places are parliament, making it it's not a monarchy anymore. You see what I'm saying? The last true monarchy, the last true monarch in Europe was Kaiser Wilhelm, right? He was the one who was running that bottomless pit. We're gonna prove it through the Spirit. Go ahead.
And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit.
That's World War I. That's the smoke. Read on.
As the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by the reason of the smoke of the pit.
Because of that war that was taking place out there in Europe. Go ahead.
And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth.
Let's take a look at what these locusts are. Real quick. Got to get the clip for y'all. And y'all could go back and watch this video that we referencing. It's called The Pit of Revelation. 19 is World War I, not CERN, because people was coming out that wacky CERN stuff. We take a look that them jets up in them air, the fighter jets, they look like a plague of locusts. If John a Revelator, number one, he don't know what a jet is. They don't have a jet. So he's looking up, and he's seeing this vision. The best way he can describe it is a plague of locusts. And if you just take a look at a picture of them, you'll be able to agree. Matter of fact, so y'all can see this is what they were looking like. See what I'm saying? Now watch. So this is a plague of locusts. Don't it look the same in the last picture I showed you? John the Revelator saw. He saw World War I happen, right? So let's continue. Let's get another look at. Let's get a look at this video. Watch this. You see this? This is a video of World War I. So like, this is a video of it. You see that? You see those planes flying? The locusts. So that lets you know what John the Revelator was seeing, right? Go ahead.
Revelation 9 and 3. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power as the scorpions of the earth have power.
The scorpions of the earth. Matter of fact, I know we got that clip too. Hold on, right here. Ooh, this is a cold video. I gotta go back and watch this video. This was a cold piece. Hold on, let me see. Power to read that again, Salaki.
It says, and unto them was given power as the scorpion commanded them.
Salaki. How do the scorpions of the earth have power? Their stinger, their tail, right? Where were the gunners at in these jets? In the back. In the back. See, as they showing it right here on the screen. Dog fight, you see that? He's in the back with a gun. Like a scorpion, right? Go ahead.
Okay, it says, and it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, which have not the seal of God in their forehead.
What is that talking about? The other nations showed, but it said that this war was, but they couldn't hurt the grass, the green thing. Nobody that got the seal. What is that talking about? The death toll of black men and Hispanic and Native Indian men that died in that war was so extravagantly low. Unprecedented. You never, like, none of us died. Who know about red tails? Killing everybody. So did them Negroes die in that fight? Did none of them die? Grass, and that's the green things. Those are those that had the seal of the Most High. Most High didn't want our people to die in that war, so we didn't die in that war.
Yeah, it was like out of 10,000 Jamaicans, like only 18 of them died.
which who are they? Those are ones who are tares with white fathers. You know, if you died, if you're a black person and you died in World War I, your forefather is a white man. That's because the Bible told me that none of our people died. So them 18 niggas, them are 18 of masters' babies. Period. Ain't no way, that wasn't no Israelite.
It says, verse 5, Revelation 9 and 5. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but they should be tormented 5 months.
But they was tormented. They was going through hell, though, during that World War I. But how long?
5 months.
How long was World War I? Roughly. 5 years. 5 years. All right. We know the days, the weeks, the months, the year. You know what I mean? We know how this is working prophetically. You see what I'm saying? The prophetic timeline. So those are the 5 years of World War I. You just heard World War I. Right. You see what I'm saying? But again, the black woman got you in Kemet somewhere, you know, drinking some girl's period blood, calling her clean. You see what I'm saying? Meanwhile, we know about everything that's ever happened, that's ever going to happen, just from simply picking up the book called the Bible, right? So read.
And they were their torment was as the torment of a scorpion, which at the man.
He's in the back shooting at people. But he ain't killing nobody. Meaning the so-called black men that partook in this war was dog fighting. Before Noah shootout, I mean, it might kind of seem fun, but really it's hell. You know, on the outside looking in, you might think, oh, this is fun. Shooting. No. You flying, I'm in the air, and we shooting it out in the air. That's torment. They tormented our people, but they didn't kill them.
And in those days shall men seek death and shall not find it.
Who's seen Saving Private Ryan? What else? What's that? Forrest Gump. I want to say Forrest Gump is World War II, but you don't think that was the same thing was going on? They saying, "Mommy," you know what I mean? They want to die, but they're getting shipped back home with no legs. That's worse than death.
Yeah, because the physicians weren't adequate enough. So this is where you get the beginning of morphine. The beginning of morphine, because they would just tell us, they would just put some morphine in them, or have them drink some morphine, and have them they would be able to fall asleep, or they would be able. So in the beginning, like on the Guess Who album, which makes sure you guys cop that.
That's right.
When I'm speaking about being heroin, it started off with opiates they was given to the gladiators, and that's really how Alexander the Great conquered, because he was giving it to his whole army. So they were able to keep moving and fighting. Then up to World War I, they added it on and made it as a chemical morphine. Then today they made it as heroin. But
and that's why you see so many brothers out here in the city strung out on dope, crazy, homeless. Veterans. Yeah, vets. These guys are vets. These guys that you're seeing, you know what I mean? Especially the brothers you see. These are that's a veteran. You see what I'm saying? Of somebody's war. But because of whatever the hell he went through in that war, he got hooked on the dope that the white man gave him. You see what I'm saying? That prescription right now, he just went and got it in his raw form. You see what I'm saying? Through heroin and whatnot. So go ahead.
Hitler practices too.
Yeah, Hitler. Oh yeah, Hitler. I want to say that's really like where crystal came from the Nazis. You know what I'm saying? From the Nazis. That's how they got people all hyped up on crystal meth.
Yeah, and if you look at the footage from World War I mean, you got guys that like half of their damn head blowing off, lips blowing off,
but they still alive.
Cigarette in their mouth with the lips blowing off. So they were seeking death. They were seeking death, but they weren't able to. They was keeping them alive.
Yeah, Most High give it to them. You know,
shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horse prepared unto battle.
That's the jet, right? Go ahead.
And on their heads were
as
it were crowns like gold, and their faces were as the faces of men.
Who sees this right here? They have head like the crown, the Salakia. No, this is Salakia. I'm jumping. This is the jet. This is the jet, right? This is the jet. Faces of men, because the men are piloting it. Like it, the gold is what's on the
Well, he's describing he's seeing the fighter jets, and he's also seeing
the pilots of it
who are conducting them. They got their crowns on. So the locusts have the face of men, meaning men are driving these locusts, which are jets. And it says, and they had hair as the hair of women.
Mm-hmm.
So on these crowns,
these ones right here, if y'all can see them.
Yeah, on these crowns have women here.
It looked like a pom-pom on the top of it.
Which
the Trojans
had back 2,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm. The women look like a blind pom-pom on the top of their joint. This is what Prussia. This is what they rocked. All right, the king of Prussia. Right. So go ahead.
And they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions. This is dealing with them bullets. And they had breastplates as it were breastplates of iron. the coverings of the
reinforcement of it. Stand them damn bullets that was getting ready to get shot at you.
And the sound of their wings as the sound of chariots of many horses running the battle. Press the engines back then.
Loud as hell. loud as hell engines, man, when you watch the videos. Go ahead.
And it says, and they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months.
5 years.
And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit.
Let's take a look at it. You see that? Is that an angel? This is what they would call an angel right there. The white man call that an angel. I call that a homosexual. But this is an angel right here. Called an angel. This man, Kaiser Wilhelm, the king of Prussia, had his own church.
Yeah.
In that church, they painted him as an angel in that church. He's the angel of the bottomless pit here in the book.
That's how we know.
Talking about. It's not talking. Somebody told me this is not talking about World War I. Well, I simply say, prove it. Give me a point-for-point breakdown that cohesively ends as this just did. With historical facts. We bringing out history with everything we're talking about. If you can't do it, you got to get that the hell up out of here. You could think or feel however you want. Everything we're saying is historically backed up through the spirit of power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. We wouldn't feel right coming out and telling you it if it wasn't. We'd be damn liars. No different than the church. You see what I'm saying? It's clear. If you can show me something else that fits better and more cohesively than this, I'll drop it. But I ain't seen it. You see what I'm saying? So go ahead.
Verse 11. Of them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Ibadan. But in the Greek tongue, his name is Apollyon.
That's what his figurative name was, Apollyon. Right? Read on.
It means destroyer.
Yeah, that's what he was doing. Kaiser Wilhelm. Go ahead.
One woe is past.
One woe. Woes. Now one woe. Now they didn't describe World War I, and then they told you one woe is past. Read on.
And behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter.
2 is coming. World War I and World War II and World War III is coming. Go ahead.
Verse 13. And the 6th angel sounded.
Now the 6. Go ahead.
And I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar, which is before the Most High, saying to the 6th angel, which had the trumpet, angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the 4 angels were loose, which were prepared for an hour, and a day, and a month, and a year, for to slay the 3rd part of men.
You see that? Let's keep going. What is this? Right? What is this talking about? Go ahead.
And just for edification, the reason why it's mentioned in the Euphrates is because everything on earth that is happening, all this tension, is mainly because of the tension in the Middle East. That's why.
That's the epicenter.
That's the epicenter of the universe, is Jerusalem. So that's going to be the key point, the whole Levant. When the Bible talks about the Euphrates, it's not only talking about the Jerusalem, it's talking about the Levant. So that's
from Egypt to Iraq.
And that's why you see the tensions with Syria. That's why you see if Iran and Israel go at it, America's going to jump in, which then Iran's going to pull Russia in. So that's what's going to kick off this this 3rd World War, which we see it coming to fruition right now. All right, so it says, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them.
He's dealing with the missiles, okay? Now, when you look up that number in the Greek, 200,000, how much is that? Who knows how much 200,000 is? Oh, I know. Who knows? What is 1,000,000? 1,000,000. 200 million. When you look it up in the Greek, it doesn't say 200 million. Translated as that, but when you look at it in the Greek, it's just saying like it's finna be a lot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's basically innumerable. Well, it don't really say 200,000.
Yeah, when you look at it too, and that's a One West doctrine, 200 million missiles.
No, One West doctrine is 200 million angels. GMS doctrine is 200 million missiles.
200 million missiles. Mm-hmm. When you look at how many nuclear warheads each country has, it's only like fucking 7,500. So it can't be talking about 200 million missiles.
It's just not. That's why we had to look it up. And once you look it up in the Greek, it don't say 200 million. You see what I'm saying? But it's going to be a lot. You can't number however many it's going to be. You know what I mean? Especially if you're looking at standing on the ground, looking up at all these things falling down. What you gonna count them? Go ahead. I saw.
How powerful the missile is going to be?
Well, it just literally means a numeral. You see what I'm saying? So, but it's definitely going to be powerful. You see what I'm saying? Which is good. It's getting ready to describe all of those aspects now. Go ahead.
And it says, and thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and brimstone. And the heads of the horsemen were as the heads of lions.
That's that thermonuclear fire that's in, right? And it was as the head of a lion. What's that mean? The head of the horseman was as the head of a lion. What's a lion do? Roar. That's that missile opening up, roaring, and then what? Go ahead.
And out of their mouths issue fire and smoke and brimstone.
That's warheads coming out of that missile. It opens up, warheads shoot out. That's what destroys.
By these three was the third part of men killed.
Mm-hmm. That's how much it's going to destroy of men. It's going to kill a third of the earth. Go ahead.
By the fire, by the smoke, and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths.
Right, that's that thermonuclear destruction. Read on.
For their power is in their mouth.
The power is in it. They open up, and there's the warheads. The warheads are the power. Go ahead.
And in their tails. And their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues, yet repented not of the works of their hands.
You're going to have people that's not going to be killed by these missiles. But some of these people that's not killed by these missiles are still not people who repented of their sin. Right? Read on.
And it says, didn't repent for the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and of wood, meaning all your churches going to hell off with this wood and stone, these idols.
That's right.
Which neither can see nor hear nor walk. Verse 21, neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornication, nor of their thefts. Revelation 10:1.
And so like it. Let's jump to 11 and 15. Because you know it's going to kind of delve off into some other stuff. The 7th ain't really summed up until 11.
Okay. Revelation 11 and 15. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly.
Third woe cometh quickly. Third world's war. Read on.
And the seventh angel sounded.
The seventh. Now here's the 7th. Read.
And they were great voices. Just so brothers, so we can kind of stay. The 6th angel is the missiles. So everybody knows that.
Exactly. World War I is 5, and that it covers all the way up to World War II and the beginning stages of World War III. The 6th is of course, the end of World War III, which is that missile. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Okay, again, Revelation 11 and 15. And the 7th angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever.
So the 7th trump is Yahweh Shai, who the world called Christ, establishing his kingdom and rulership on earth, the kingdom of heaven being established. It's from 70 AD to the kingdom. You see, from us losing our kingdom to us getting our kingdom back. Trumpets. All right. So all praise Yahweh Shai for that.